Let's go deeper into the science of focus. Why does our mind get distracted? Americans love dogs. So when I walk in the morning, I always find somebody or other crossing me with their dog on the leash. And these dogs all have different behaviors. Some dogs are so disciplined. They will walk 1 yard in front of their master with their head down. They don't care if there's saffron-clad person going by, it doesn't matter. I am completely dedicated to my work at hand. While other dogs are quite distracted. They will look at the squirrel and do bhav bhav bhav, and then they'll find a bug in the ground on the other side and go chasing it, and then they see this saffron Swami bhav 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 bhav. So likewise is the untrained mind. Remember one thing, you are not the mind. If you were, you would have no ability to control it. You have a mind, just like you have a body. You train your body to do things. You can train your mind as well. The untrained mind is like a little child. The child works on the simple pleasure principle. The child's goal in life is simple twofold. I want pleasure and I don't want pain. Mummy says, beta, take this amla, it's good. No, I don't want it. So the child's philosophy is that, you seek pleasure, and if at first you don't succeed, cry, cry, cry again. Mummy will come and give it. So our mind is exactly like that. The mind doesn't care for what is good, what is not good. That is the work of the intellect. The mind says, I want pleasure and I don't want pain. Now the problem in focus is, there is a high value activity in front of you. You have to prepare the project report to present to your boss and boss's boss tomorrow. It must be done well. But it's not pleasurable. So there's a low value activity which is giving more pleasure. Now your mind says, do I have to remain here? Can I not go and surf on the internet a little bit? Right? So you realize the dilemma that happens. There is a low value activity that is pleasurable, and there is a high value activity that is necessary but boring. And the mind doesn't like something that is boring. So mind immediately wishes to be distracted. The problem becomes more complex because of the novelty bias of our brain. Novelty bias means every time you shift focus, the brain secretes dopamine to give you a little pleasure. And hence, distraction is intrinsically pleasurable. Now, I sit with 365 drivers in 365 days. And I know car drivers who keep changing the radio channel every second. I say, Baba, you can't even hear what it is and you're going to the next channel. But the brain is getting the dopamine from the change. Right? However, this can be countered. And that is where willpower plays the role. When you were a student and you wanted to be a good performer, the mind said, I don't like studies, but you studied nevertheless. You said, I will tolerate the pain. You were willing to exert. When your body was out of shape and you said, I need to get my health back. Now the brain complained, I don't like the gym and all the exercise, but you exercised nevertheless. When your doctor told you your cholesterol or sugar is out of control, now you have to eat healthy foods. The tongue said, I don't like it, but you ate them nevertheless. Mark Twain put it so well. He just reinforced what I used to think as a child. When I was a little child and my mother would say, don't eat this and eat this, I said, why in the world is everything that is tasty is bad for health? And everything that is not tasty is good for health. So Mark Twain said, if you wish to be healthy, you must eat the things you'd rather not. You must drink the things you would prefer not to, and you must do the things that your mind complains about. That is the way. But then, it's always the beneficial pain, which leads to joy later on. You then later on enjoy the joy of good health. Otherwise, you choose pleasure now and bear the pain later on of ill health. The choice is always yours. Muhammad Ali was asked, did you enjoy those practice sessions? The greatest. So they were curious. He dedicated himself to boxing and he rose so well. He became a legendary personality. Did you enjoy those sessions? Muhammad Ali said, I hated them. But I said to myself, bear the pain and live your life as a champion. So if you wish to become your own champion, develop your own heroism within yourself, then bear a little bit of pain, the good kind of pain, which will liberate you later on. Which means exert your willpower. Children come and ask me, Swamiji, how do I cultivate my focus? Because I am sitting in front of the book and the mind wanders off. Like you are sitting in front of Swamiji, but in 1.5 hours, sometimes the mind does wander off, right? And then those words disappear. What did I say? I don't know, Swamiji. But my ears were getting purified. This is a typical Indian concept. When you grow old and there's nothing better to do, you go and sit down in the satsang. Even the Bahu will say, Sasoji, you are going for Bhagavad Katha. You take the sabzi and you can cut it in the Katha. Somebody is knitting sweaters in the Katha. And after the satsang, you ask them, what did Pandit Ji say? I don't know, I was purifying my ears. Acha? So your ears will go to Golok and you'll remain here? Arey Baba, if you wish to purify the ears, you have to clean them with soap and water. Come to satsang to purify the mind. So, this mind has the wandering nature. Whether you are in satsang or whether you have the book in front or even in meditation. Now you have to counter it. So, for the student whose mind is unfocused, what do? I say very simple. Every time the mind wanders, you bring it back. Every time it wanders, you bring it back. Slowly, the muscle of your willpower will become stronger and stronger and stronger. So neurologists have actually discovered that willpower works very much like a muscle. Now, what is the science of growing muscles? Those who do it will tell you. The science is that you exert so much until it breaks. The trainer will tell you one more. And then the muscle breaks. They are called micro tears. But nothing to worry. 48 hours later, if you've been taking nutrition, they will grow back stronger than before. So muscles grow by exerting them. Now, willpower is a mental muscle. Scientists have discovered there's actually a portion of the brain that is responsible for it. The doctors will tell you the prefrontal cortex of the brain. Our human brain is special in its weight to body mass ratio amongst all the creatures. About 1/20th of the body weight, but it consumes 1/5 of the calories, the human brain. And it's also special because of this prefrontal cortex. That prefrontal cortex gives you 3 abilities. I will, I won't, I want. Pay attention to these carefully. I will. This activity is boring, yet I will do it. That ability comes from the prefrontal cortex. I won't. This activity is enjoyable, but I won't do it. Third, I want. Awareness of my higher goal to which I am oriented. So all 3 are coming from the prefrontal cortex. And if you exercise the prefrontal cortex, it will grow stronger. Just like if you start juggling, now the neurological MRIs will show that the portion of the brain that gets engaged for juggling keeps on packing more and more gray matter because you're using it. Likewise, you use the prefrontal cortex and it grows bigger and stronger. So how will you grow your willpower to focus? Well, exercise it. And the most powerful exercise for it is meditation. Why? Meditation involves 3 things. I will keep my mind at the feet of Radha Krishna, even though the mind complains. I won't think of that distraction, even though it is nice. And I want. My goal is to achieve that supreme destination, whatever you define it for yourself. So all 3 are getting exercised when you meditate. Interestingly, even if your meditation is not very good, the exercise is still happening, and that is making the difference. Hence, all of us have the ability to grow in our focus by exercising it again and again and again. It is as simple as that.